Lisa Ann McCall, physical therapist, posture princess, lover of movement. Here we go. Today, we're going to talk about how to turn in bed when you have back pain. You may go, what? Well, I hear it a lot. I've heard it a lot. People have a hard time because they're asleep. Maybe they've had back pain. They finally fell asleep. They want to turn over. Your body's really relaxed. And it hurts their back. A lot of times, back pain can be related to instability of things in the spine. I like to be very general and I'm being very general, and I like to be cautious when I'm general because there's a lot of factors that cause back pain. But one thing is, you relax, it wakes you up. Part of the reason I like to talk about this is because it's counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive what I'm going to ask you to do. And I'm going to ask you to do this with me if possible. Because if you experience what I talk about, you can say, that didn't work for me, or it worked for me. Because one of the biggest problems in fitness, health, and medicine today is it's too much of a big business. Yeah, I've been in the business for 30 years, and when I got in it, we were supposed to be helping people feel better. But now it's trying to sell you an idea. Well, I don't want to sell you an idea. I want you to go experiment with my ideas. If they work for you, then I want you to do them. If they don't work for you, don't do them. And guess what? You'll be that much smarter about what your body needs. So a lot of my work is based on what I call DIY therapy, do-it-yourself therapy. I kind of put the power of being your own physical therapist in your own hands. So today, it's going to be counterintuitive what I show you, and that's kind of why I like it, because then you can go, well, maybe everything I'm being told is true. Maybe it's not true for me. Oh, that's good. So if you can lie on the floor or if you can lie on the bed, either one, that would be great, because I'm going to do it on the floor, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit on the idea. And then after that, I'm going to do some Q&A and announce my first free Zoom class coming up in a couple of weeks. If you want to be on it, I'll tell you how. Okay, because I want you to be interacting with me, and I want to see if I can watch some of you and go, oh no, why don't you do it this way or do it this way? And it's a little bit more about the experience we do together versus it being about you just listening to me and thinking, is she right or wrong? I don't care about that stuff. I just don't do that. Okay, here we go. Going to the floor. So let's say this is going to be my bed, okay? And I'm going to show you how to turn as if this was my bed in bed, okay? So I'm in bed, and let's say, I'm just going to say, well, if you don't do this, you might want to try it. But anyway, this is a whole nother story. We could talk about how to sleep. But anyway, let's say I'm here, and you want to turn. You want to turn the other way, and you think you're going to turn your back. You're going to turn over on your back or to the other side, and you go, oh, it hurts. Because I've had people tell me this all the time. Okay, here's the story. You're lying here. You're going to stick your stomach out. Yeah, you're going to stick out your whole tummy the best you can. And when you stick it out, it's going to create kind of a stabilization of your back. And you're going to stick it out, and when you turn, you'll stick your stomach out, then you can rest. And if you want to go the other side, look at that. I'm sticking my tummy out, my belly out, and I'm turning. Sticking my stomach out, and I'm turning. So what this does is it causes you not to twist. People usually hurt when there's a twist involved, and if the twist is happening around the waistline. You don't need to get into the weeds about that. I mean, we could, but that's not what's important right now. We're going to stick our tummy out. We're going to turn onto our back, stick our tummy out, turn onto the other side. Now, I'm going to get up close with you and talk to you about this concept. So in a way, when you stick your stomach out, you'll feel this tension, firmness. Okay? You feel your abs are contracting. I mean, they can pull in or they can pull out. They can go in and out just like a belly dancer. That's kind of how they're designed to do. They're never designed to be stiffly in one place. What we're doing is we're sticking our tummy out so we can be, in a sense, stiff and in one place so that the back and the front stay stable. See, your front and your back, it's like the front and back of a house. They mirror each other. And what's going on back here is going to come up here. And so I can look at people's front and know what's going on back here. They should be equal. One shouldn't be, I shouldn't be way back like that or way back like this. I mean, there's a design. It's in the body, it's in the structure. There's a design. And I'm not going to get too deep in that either. I'm just going to tell you that most people don't have an arch in their low back and they need it. And most people are pulled in and tight right here and they need to relax it. I mean, I do this because most people have a problem with tension, and so I'm just taking tension away. I'm just counteracting the tension. So if you can put a little arch in your back and stick your tummy out, try that too. If that hurts, don't try to put an arch in your back. If it hurts to stick your tummy out, do a little less. So there's usually a modification somewhere in there that will help you go, oh, that feels pretty good. Now let me tell you about the tummy, abs. I'm just going to call it tummy because that is a tummy. There's a lot of muscles around here. But here's the deal. Most people, when I ask them to stick their stomach out, it sticks out up here more than it sticks out down here at first. That has a little bit to do with the fact that they're not really strong here in a functional way, strong in a way that helps you move better. When you're strong down low and you can kind of like pulsate your abs, that's kind of a reflection of how your back and your front work together. So if you'll think of this whole area that it's supposed to dynamically work together, you can watch belly dancers move and move their hips and move their torso and move their abs, and you'll see that there's this really good I like to think of it as sort of like a symphony of movement. It all kind of flows. I don't have a real mechanistic, mechanical viewpoint of movement. You need to understand that. I don't have a real mechanical, mechanistic viewpoint of movement, but I do think from a mechanical point of view, meaning I know mechanically how the bones are designed to stack, and once I know that, then I can watch the body do what it knows how to do more like an art form. There is a mechanical aspect, but in life we live more like an art form. It's an art form to move around. It shouldn't be mechanical, right? There is, though, a foundation. Your house there is a mechanical structure, and then you decorate it and you live in it and you enjoy it. It's a great analogy. It really is. The structure of things out in the world, like the structure of our human body. Okay, so there is a foundation, and that's what I work from. So I have that understanding. But when it comes to life, the body is designed to be able to be very fluid. So what you can also do is practice. Don't overarch your back. Don't underarch. I can't give you the details of that right now, but if it doesn't feel comfortable, don't do it. Usually, if you just stick your tummy out in your hands, you'll feel that firmness, and that will help you move, and it usually puts a little arch in your back. So, again, this is just correcting a abnormally tucked butt or an abnormally weak area that is not what I'd like to say, the front and the back of the body are not mirroring each other in a healthy way. So we're trying to bring that back together. Now, there always are exceptions to this. People who are swayed back, which seems to be everybody's worry right now. Oh, don't put too much arch in your back. Oh, that's not good. And they don't really even understand what that is, because an overarched back has a lot to do with what's going on up here and what's going on right here. If it doesn't hurt you to overarch your back a little bit and then just relax it. If you have to put too much arch in your back at first, go ahead and do it. Then relax it. It'll self-correct. Most people have too much arch in their back because of a lifted chest and tight in the front of the hips. And that's really important to know. Otherwise, most people's body will kind of self-correct if you take away some of these ideas that people are planting and pushing in your brain. So when you want to turn, and you can do this in standing too, I've taught this, you turn, you can stick your belly out, turn to the left, turn to the right, you'll feel the tension, you'll feel everything moving as a unit. And at that moment, that unit is really important. It's not rigid. It's just the way the design of the body is to make. It's what a belly dancer can do. It's the foundation that you build on. So hopefully that was helpful. Now Q&A.
Becca from Chicago asks, should I start out in bed on my back or on my side?
I find that is a preference. How do you sleep best? Like, I sleep on my back a lot in the beginning, but I also tape my mouth closed. You can read about mouth taping if you want. That's not, I'm just saying, a lot of people sleep on their back and their mouth opens up and they don't like that. I'm more comfortable starting on my back. Some people are more comfortable sleeping on their side. I have, in my book, I show, the McCall Body Balance Method book, I show how to position yourself on your side. And the reason I show that is because it causes you to not like sleep on certain points where you feel like you hurt. It helps you sleep on the most, the biggest amount of body surface and most comfortable. So there's, my opinion, there isn't a right or wrong. I go from back to side to side. I go back side to side. That's just me. And I have a pillow, and I've gotten it. There is an art to knowing how to, move around at night in bed. I mean, there really is an art form.
Carla in Flagstaff says, is your belly your core? I keep hearing I need to tighten my core to move correctly.
Okay. Core. I don't even go into the core world. It doesn't make sense to me. Core came out in around 2000. That's 25 years ago. I was 40. You maybe were a baby. I was doing this way before core existed. The concept of core is not my concept. Concept of core focuses more on looking at muscles. Okay? So let's just talk about that. Look it up. They talk about muscles when they speak about core. When I talk about the body, I think about structure and how the neurological system knows what muscles to contract and not contract. So I feel, in my perspective, it's just a little broader, like I put your structure in the right place and the right muscles contract. I do not live in the core world. It's like I live in another world. So why don't you just, for grins, stop doing what core people say, see if you feel better. I mean, I show videos on YouTube of how to be tall, and you'll feel your abs kick in, and it's like a totally different language. They speak a different language than I do. So I can't give you an answer other than this is my language, And if it's not, if my language doesn't work for you, then go core. If the core language doesn't work for you, but whatever you do, you make the decision. Don't believe, whatever you hear.
Rhonda in Illinois says, I have no idea what pulsating my abs means.
Okay. Put your hands on your tummy and stand up. Is that Paula? Did you say?
Rhonda.
Rhonda, excuse me, Rhonda. Stick it out, pull it in. Stick it out, pull it in. Stick it out, pull it in. That is a pulsation. That's an abdominal pulsation. I make up the word pulsation. You can sit and do this in your car. Pull it in, push it out. Try not to suck. Try not to let your spine do a lot of weird shit. Excuse me. I'm not supposed to say that. Weird stuff. Push out, pull in. That's pulsating. That's a kind of like I'm using my abs, but I'm also freeing my abdominal area up from tension. I don't want to be super tight, and I don't want to be super flaccid. I want it to work. And that's the way you can work your abs. Pulsating. You can call it whatever you want. That's just the word I used.
Rick in Tucson asks, how should my bones be stacked when I'm in bed and trying to turn from my belly?
That's nice. You don't have to be as concerned about stacking your bones in bed, except for excessive stuff. I'll show you what you don't want. Because it'll self-correct. The bones, you're lying down, the bones are lying down. Now, if my head's really elevated or my legs are turned in a lot because I don't have a pillow, or if your arms are, there can be stuff like that. But let's just take away some things that are excessive. People have a tendency to put way too many pillows under their head and their shoulder. So now I'm kind of not in a great position from the shoulder blades up. I'm kind of my bones aren't stacked well. So if that's what I'm going to use. So I would make sure, and I have a thing, I talk about how to position your neck. I could do that in a video, or I could do that in one of these. But basically, if your head can be down a little more in line, comfortably in line, you can put stuff in your neck, but just don't be excessively up. The other thing is, I think people sometimes are like this. They'll turn one leg in and one. This is the way I used to sleep when I was really young, is I kind of slept like this. And the deal is, my thigh was turned in on the left and my right leg was turned out. And I've seen over many, many, many years, so many, I don't know why it's a girl thing, but I just noticed more girls doing that. And it really was messing with my hips. So that would be, I would just keep it real basic, Try not to have excessive head up, excessive movement of the limbs. Otherwise, you should be pretty cool. Because you don't have to deal with gravity. You see, look at gravity right now. How's gravity working with me? Gravity is working with me on lots of different segments when I lie down. Meaning, when I stand up, gravity's working through my feet up my spine, a smaller surface area. When I'm on the floor or in bed, I don't have gravity. I have more of gravity in me working together in a bunch of different segments. So it doesn't have to be as perfect to create more comfort.
Stay down.
Okay.
Paul in Atlanta asks, or says, I still don't understand how turning from my belly can help my upper back pain.
Okay, then get on the floor and do it. Do it with me. I'm not saying it's going to help your upper back because I don't know exactly where it is. It may be here. But if you turn at night and it hurts, this is what this is for. This is to help it feel better. You may be having your head up really high. You may not, but if I stick my tummy out, this is what a lot of people do. They'll twist. And half of their body's still that way, and half their body's that way. And I don't know what you're doing, but if you keep this as one unit, this is more of a low back pain prescription, because upper back pain, wow, that has a little bit more to do with the way you position your head and neck in bed, which I can go over one day.
Bill and Williams says, I'm still a little confused. You asked me to turn from my belly. Aren't my belly, or isn't my belly made up of muscles?
Yeah, it is, but you don't need to know muscles. See, this is the kill. This is kind of the deal. Why do you need to think about muscles? Just ask yourself that today. Why do I need to? I bend my arm. You think I'm going to sit and think about bicep, tricep, bicep, tricep, bicep, tricep? This is so in vogue to think about muscles. Yes, you're working muscles. Do you need to know every muscle that's working? You can't. I don't care what the world of muscles, there's so many different philosophies, but they cannot tell you. And the reason they can't tell you is because neurologically, you're constantly changing every moment. There could be the multifidi in your spine that kick in. Maybe a few of them kick in, maybe a few don't. Maybe your transverse abdominis just kicked in, maybe it didn't. Maybe your rectus abdominis kicked in, maybe your rectus spinae kicked in. Here's my point. You need, and I need, as a human being, to focus on how it feels. Does it work? Do I feel more relaxed? Am I more efficient? If you're playing a sport, are you thinking about the muscles? No, you're thinking about whatever it is, hitting the ball. Like me in Kung Fu, getting my hand where I want it, getting my feet where I want them, moving around. I'm not thinking about muscles. That's crazy. The neurological system, central nervous system, knows what muscles to move as you become more efficient at moving your bones. If I don't have full range of motion of my elbow joint, if it's limited, it just goes like right in there. Let's say it hurt my elbow and I couldn't do that. Then that is going to influence how much I use those muscles around that joint. And it'll affect how I use my neck and blah, blah, blah. I don't need to know as a functioning human being what muscles I'm using. Did you know I think about muscles less and less as a physical therapist, and I've helped people more and more. Massage therapists may feel different. You know, their job is different. I'm not saying there aren't people in the health and care business that don't want or need to look at muscles, but I know as a PT, unless you've had a stroke or a closed head injury, and I'm a physical therapist in a hospital, and I need your muscles to start working again because your central nervous system was shut down to that certain muscle, those physical therapists do think about, I gotta get that bicep, I gotta facilitate that. So if you've got a normal functioning body, you haven't had a stroke, you haven't had a closed head injury, then I don't know why you need to be thinking about whether it's your abdominals. But just to answer the question, yes, you'll be working your abs and your back and muscles all around your torso and low back. Okay, now that's it for today, except don't go away. I've decided Wednesday, the 16th, at 10:30 of April 16th, 10:30, I'm going to do a free Zoom class for 30 to 45 minutes. And the reason I want to do that is I want you to try to do something like, I'm going to go over something pretty basic, and I want you to go, well, I'm doing it, and I can say, well, no, you're not doing that, or yeah, you're doing that, but why don't you do a little more of that? So you can actually like experiment with this stuff. Now, the way to be able to do that is you have to go onto my website, McCallmethod.com, and you have to sign up for my newsletter, because my newsletter is the only place I'm putting that link. And boom, you can show up, and I send out maybe 1 to 2 newsletters a month, and they usually have a video on them. That's it. So if you sign up for my newsletter, then you can get the link. You can show up, ask me questions. I'll pick some people to do the move. I've never done this before, so don't get too worked up if it doesn't work out beautifully. You know, I do Zoom classes. It's just that I've never done something like this. But I want you to experiment with me, and I want, if possible, to watch some of y'all move so I can say, oh no, that's not what I meant by that. This is what I meant by that. Because this is really weird. Movement, I'm used to touching people and seeing people move. And I really want to participate with you in the experience, not just chat about ideas. So, oh yeah, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to like and share, and what else? Like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next week at this time, and then we'll have a Zoom the following week. Have a good week. Bye.